Hello, I'm Tracy Sakositz, North American Creative Director for Sassoon Salons and Academies. As part of our continuing partnership with Wella, the Sassoon Academy will be featured on Wella's digital education website, salonprofessionalinteractive.com. Today, we are pleased to present Mark Hayes, Sassoon International Creative Director.
Hi, my name is Mark Hayes, and today I'm going to be creating a look that is based on our new collection, which is called Downtown. And it's kind of cool because it celebrates eccentric individuality. And on Amber's hair, what we're going to be doing is working with, as you can see here, a very low side parting that's going to allow the hair to fall really beautifully across the face. We're going to work with more of a tighter, graduated feel through the back, sitting the hair in nice and tight through here. And then work with disconnected lengths through the interior that will allow the haircut, although it's based on a very, very strong technical geometric shape, to have a certain softness and a certain movement, which means that the wearer can choose how the hair is styled around a very specific individual look. So we've divided Amber's hair from this low side parting that goes diagonally across, bisects the crown at the roundest point of the head, and then sits asymmetrically down into the back. And I'm going to start the haircut by working a kind of flat square graduation through the nape that's going to utilize Amber's beautiful hairline, so it kind of curves down. So we're going to have this nice curved shape through here, just graduating the hair through quite square, quite flat, keeping a certain amount of length behind the ear, but just going for this kind of flatter, more coutured head shape through the back, and then working into the length through the front. It's got quite a bit of detail in the shape, but this is kind of the, I suppose this is like the foundation for the shape, really. This is where everything's sort of built from, and everything else will stem from that. So lifting the hair out slightly diagonally, each section is lifted out higher than the previous. And I'll just continue working through the back of the head, through one side, allowing the length to develop as I work up the head. So positioning my fingers so that they follow the line of the shoulders, which will make sure that the length is maintained behind the ears. So you can see the graduation, the way it's developing, is keeping the hair flat through the center of the back, but maintaining the length behind the ear. And what that will do, it'll allow me to work a really nice hairline shape into the back. So it has a nice curve that follows the curve of the neck onto the shoulder, but maintains the length through here that'll allow us to work through and cut. Really, what I'm trying to think of is everything at Sassoon is about technique supporting the overall finished look. So the technique eventually will be invisible, but it'll support the whole shape, but the shape should look as though it's kind of just happened. The key is to keep the hair lifted and let the fingers create the lengths. The angle of the fingers create the lengths. So working on the final section through the first side, you can see my fingers have traveled up the back of the head. They're almost kind of level with the top in a way. So I know that I'm keeping this angle here very, very flat and allowing the curve of Amber's head to create that sort of dynamic line there. And then we'll work a little bit more on the outline once I've cut the second side in exactly the same way. So the second side is cut in the same way as the first. Once again, diagonal sections, slightly diagonal sections, lifting the hair out and just ensuring that you maintain the length as you work into the side. Okay, so having established the square graduations through both sides of the back, so it's symmetrical, even though the sectioning that we have through here makes the shape asymmetrical, but this disconnection that we have from the top lengths into the graduation will become invisible as the shape progresses. So what I'm going to do now is to establish more of the length of the outline through the front of the side, and that will then work into the back of the side. And due to the previous haircut, it's kind of very layered through the top here, which is good, which I want, but it means that we can kind of probably do this in one section. So using the principles of inside-out graduation, which creates something of an A-line shape, but using a curved section, I'll work from the front, just lifting the hair out. And I just need to sort of judge the line so that it's going to sit just to the corner of Amber's jaw, which is kind of where we'll start the line. The length may change slightly as we work through. It's just important to get the right, you've got to kind of feel your way into the right sort of length. So I just use my fingers to rest against the jaw. And that will come across into the back and work into the length that, and this is the corner here, this is the corner that we established beforehand. So that will kind of bring the shape more together. And then the outline just kind of works from there. What I wanted to do is to kind of have all the disconnected length coming from the inside of the shape, whereas the outside will be quite clean. To create the outline through the back, as I said earlier, we're going to use the natural curve of Amber's hairline. And I find it best to put a fair amount of tension on the back of the hair. So you're combing the shape right down. Work from the center of the neck, and then just imagine your point over at the side here. And it's something that you kind of you sketch the line in almost, and then gradually go over it and refine it as you're working through the rest of the shape. You keep having to kind of establish that length. So it's just a nice kind of curve. Just using the tips of the scissors, because then you can kind of use the angle of the scissor blades to get a nice kind of curved shape into the hairline. So kind of quite a bit of tension. And that will then sort of suggest that it connects into the hair in front of the ear. So you've got that sort of feel to it. And then it's really just a case then of working through the second side just to kind of get the symmetry onto the outline. It's important that you don't over-direct the hair with something like this, I think. Because if you over-direct the hair, you'll graduate the line too much. So that will give you, from profile, it will give you a nice kind of expanded shape through here. Sit down into the length, and then drop into the length in the front. So I'm now going to repeat that on the second side, and then really it's just a case of visually, because obviously the hairline probably doesn't grow the same on both sides. You just then have to sort of individualize it depending on the hair growth pattern. Not really using my fingers to create the angle. The fingers are there just to kind of secure the hair really. And I'm always thinking of where the line's going to end up, and that's kind of going to be right at the corner of Amber's jaws. You know, Sassoon obviously is all about cutting hair to bone structure. And you're sort of starting to get a sense now of how that shape's going to going to kind of fold down and drop into that length through the front, which will give the sense of it being a kind of very curvy A-line shape. But in actual fact, it's a very kind of layered, loose sort of shape. And then because obviously now I've layered the hair through and then put an outline into it, you have to just go back through very, very gently and just remove that tiny corner in between the outline lengths and the layered lengths. As I say, it's something that you have to kind of keep working on as the shape progresses, and allowing the hair to dry as you work with it.